You know, and I said this to him many, many times, that he was the heart and soul of the film. So
Love American Style,
right.
and then he adapted it, and so we were working as a team together. Rob Reiner has spent 4 decades building a remarkable career in American cinema, not by chasing famous names, but by finding actors who could bring authentic truth to his vision. His approach to directing has always been about partnership rather than simply casting stars. Throughout his career, films like Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, and A Few Good Men have become cultural touchstones that changed how audiences think about growing up love and memorable dialogue. What made Reiner's film special wasn't just the scripts or his direction, but the actors who understood exactly what each role required without needing extensive explanation. These performers arrived on set with their egos checked at the door and their instincts finely tuned. Reiner possessed an unusual talent for seeing past an actor's previous work and reputation, looking straight into whether they could truly disappear into a character and make audiences believe every moment. Among the hundreds of actors he worked with over the years, about 10 stood out as his most trusted collaborators. These weren't necessarily the biggest names in Hollywood or the most bankable stars, but they were the ones who gave everything to their roles and helped Reiner realize his creative vision in ways that created lasting cinema. Morgan Freeman joined forces with Reiner relatively late in both their careers when they collaborated on The Bucket List in 2007. Reiner had wanted to work with Freeman for years, and when the opportunity finally arrived, it felt like the right moment had come. Freeman brought an inherent dignity to every scene he appeared in. His character, Carter Chambers, needed to convey wisdom and depth without ever coming across as preachy or artificial. Freeman achieved this balance perfectly. Reiner described Freeman's acting technique as surgical in its precision. Every line of dialogue landed with clear purpose, and every pause carried significant weight. The film paired Freeman with Jack Nicholson, and their on-screen chemistry proved irresistible to audiences. Reiner observed that Freeman never pushed or forced emotional moments. Instead, he simply existed authentically within each scene, allowing the feelings to emerge naturally. While The Bucket List received mixed reactions from critics, it succeeded at the box office, and Freeman's performance demonstrated why Reiner valued genuine authenticity over flashy spectacle. This single collaboration taught Reiner an important lesson about how mere presence can be more powerful than any performance technique. Freeman's quiet confidence became the emotional heartbeat that made the entire film work. River Phoenix was only 19 years old when Reiner cast him in Stand By Me, yet the director recognized something in the young actor that went beyond his years. There was a quality both damaged and beautiful that made Phoenix perfect for the role. He played Chris Chambers, the tough kid from a bad family who possessed a surprisingly soft heart beneath his hard exterior. The role demanded emotional depth that most actors twice Phoenix's age would struggle to reach. During the filming process, Phoenix found himself struggling with a particularly emotional scene. Reiner pulled the young actor aside and gave him simple but effective direction. He told Phoenix to think about a time when an adult had let him down or disappointed him. Phoenix's eyes immediately filled with tears, and the very next take was so powerful, it made it into the final cut of the film. Reiner never forgot that moment because it showed Phoenix's incredible capacity for raw honesty. His chemistry with the other young actors in the cast felt completely effortless, partly because Reiner had cast performers who naturally matched their characters' personalities. Phoenix brought a natural wisdom and a sense of being wounded by life that didn't require acting. Reiner has often said that Stand By Me was his most personal film, and Phoenix served as the soul of that movie. When Phoenix died tragically in 1993, it left a void in cinema that has never been filled. Tom Cruise entered the production of A Few Good Men as an established movie star, but he left the experience having become something more substantial as an actor. Reiner needed someone who could play a military lawyer capable of going head to head with Jack Nicholson's intimidating colonel without backing down. Cruise delivered an intensity wrapped in vulnerability that made his character, Daniel Kaffee, compelling. Kaffee wasn't just a confident lawyer, he was someone learning to believe in something larger than himself. The courtroom scenes required absolute precision in timing and delivery, and Cruise never missed his marks or his cues. Reiner appreciated his disciplined approach to the work. There was no ego on display, no shortcuts taken, just serious professional work. Cruise even suggested shooting reaction shots to help his fellow actors, showing his collaborative spirit. The film became Reiner's highest-grossing movie up to that point, earning $243 million worldwide. Cruise earned widespread praise for matching Nicholson's powerful performance scene for scene. Reiner later commented that Cruise brought a kind of military efficiency to everything he did in the role. Every scene felt completely earned rather than simply performed. Their collaboration proved that star power by itself means nothing without real substance backing it up. Cruise gave Reiner a performance built on thorough preparation rather than relying on his personality or fame. That dedication transformed what could have been just another legal drama into an American classic that continues to be quoted decades later. Cary Elwes came to Reiner's attention when the director flew all the way to West Berlin just to meet him. One conversation was all it took to confirm what Reiner suspected. Elwes was Wesley. The Princess Bride required a hero who could be genuinely romantic without coming across as soft or weak. Elwes had read the book as a child and dreamed of one day playing the role, and Reiner made that childhood dream come true. On set, Elwes brought both grace and humor to the character. His chemistry with Robin Wright felt genuinely timeless and natural. Reiner trusted him completely to handle the film's complex tonal shifts between action, romance, and comedy. Elwes balanced all these elements without ever breaking the frame or pulling audiences out of the story. His delivery of the phrase, "as you wish," became iconic without seeming forced or trying too hard. The film initially flopped at the box office, but gradually grew into a beloved cult masterpiece over the years. Elwes remained humble about his contribution to the film's success, always crediting Reiner's vision for its lasting impact on audiences. Reiner called Elwes the perfect anchor for the movie because he was steady, charming, and grounded in every scene. Their collaboration demonstrated that successful casting isn't about luck, but about following your instincts, and Reiner's instincts about Elwes proved absolutely flawless. Wil Wheaton was only 12 years old when Reiner cast him as Gordy in Stand By Me. The director saw aspects of himself in the character, who was a young writer processing grief and loss through storytelling. Wheaton brought a sensitivity to the role that most child actors simply couldn't access or understand. His performance felt authentic and lived in from the very first take. Reiner treated Wheaton like an adult rather than talking down to him, as many directors do with child actors. He explained dramatic structure and storytelling techniques instead of just giving simple directions. This respectful approach changed how Wheaton thought about acting forever. Decades after the film was made, Wheaton still refers to Reiner as the director who truly taught him the craft of acting. Their bond extended far beyond the filming process and lasted for years afterwards. Stand By Me became Reiner's most personal project, and Wheaton carried that emotional weight beautifully in every scene. His narration as the adult version of Gordy grounded the entire story and gave it emotional resonance. Reiner has said that the film validated him as an artist and helped him find his voice as a director. Wheaton's fundamental honesty in the role made that validation possible. One role during one summer changed both of their lives completely. Though the collaboration was relatively brief, lasting only through one production, the impact it had on both their careers and lives proved eternal. Kathy Bates auditioned for Misery without any significant film recognition on her resume. She was primarily known for her stage work at that point in her career. She read just one line during her audition, and Reiner immediately stopped her and told her she had the part. Screenwriter William Goldman had suggested her based on her powerful stage performances, and Reiner trusted that instinct completely. Bates became Annie Wilkes without any question or further auditions needed. On set, Bates clashed somewhat with James Caan's instinctive acting approach. She wanted rehearsal time and preparation, while he preferred working spontaneously and finding moments in the moment. Reiner used that natural tension brilliantly to enhance the film. He told Bates that Caan wasn't really listening to her as an actress, and encouraged her to channel that frustration directly into her character Annie. The result was both terrifying and worthy of an Academy Award. Bates won the Oscar for Best Actress, which launched her film career virtually overnight. She later said that Reiner changed her entire life with that one role. Without Misery, she believes she might have remained in theater permanently and never made the transition to film. Reiner called her performance a masterclass in restraint and control. Annie Wilkes could switch from sweet and caring to completely psychotic within seconds, and Bates made those dramatic shifts feel believable and real rather than cartoonish. One role created one complete transformation in her career. Reiner gave her the spotlight she deserved, and Bates never looked back after that breakthrough performance. Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner weren't simply professional collaborators, but genuine best friends whose bond began during their time working on All in the Family and lasted more than 50 years. When Reiner needed someone to play Harry and When Harry Met Sally, several other actors had already turned down the role. Casting Crystal felt risky because he was primarily known as a comedian, but Reiner knew he was perfect for the part. Their long friendship translated naturally into authentic chemistry on screen. Crystal improvised one of the film's biggest laugh lines when he suggested having an older woman deliver the now famous line, "I'll have what she's having after Sally's fake orgasm scene." Reiner's own mother, Estelle, ended up delivering that line, making it immortal. When they screened the film and heard the thunderous applause, Crystal and Reiner sat together, knowing they had created something genuinely timeless. When Harry Met Sally completely redefined what romantic comedies could be. Crystal's Harry Burns was neurotic, funny, and deeply human all at once. Reiner shaped the character using his own experiences going through divorce and navigating the dating world afterward. Crystal lived through those same moments vicariously as he watched his friends struggle with similar issues. That shared history between the two men made every scene feel authentic and emotionally true. Their collaboration wasn't just a professional arrangement, but rather a brotherhood that was captured on film for audiences to witness. 5 decades of friendship and trust resulted in one absolutely perfect movie. Jack Nicholson worked with Reiner on 2 separate occasions, and both times he dominated every frame he appeared in. In A Few Good Men, Nicholson's Colonel Jessup only appeared in limited scenes but managed to steal the entire film anyway. His explosive courtroom scene delivered what became one of cinema's most quotable lines when he shouted, "You can't handle the truth." Reiner gave Nicholson plenty of space and freedom to work. On set, he treated him with respect and never demanded changes to his approach. Nicholson made sure to rehearse every off-camera take perfectly to help his fellow actors. After several perfect run-throughs, Reiner gently suggested that Nicholson might want to save some energy for the actual film take. Nicholson simply replied that he loved to act, so rehearsing fully didn't bother him at all. 15 years later, they reunited to make The Bucket List together. Nicholson revealed a different side during this collaboration, showing his skill as a writer. Every morning before filming, he and Reiner would sit together and rewrite scenes, improving the dialogue before cameras rolled. Reiner called those collaborative sessions a genuine privilege. Nicholson brought intense commitment to everything he touched. Whether he was performing courtroom drama or geriatric comedy, he never simply coasted on his reputation or phoned in his performance. 2 films made across 2 decades created one unforgettable partnership. Nicholson gave Reiner his complete power and commitment both times they worked together. Meg Ryan wasn't Reiner's first choice when casting Sally in When Harry Met Sally. Several other actresses auditioned for the role of Sally Albright, but once Ryan read for the part, everything suddenly clicked into place. She brought natural warmth and intelligence without seeming to try too hard or force anything. Her chemistry with Billy Crystal felt both instant and effortless from their first scene together. Reiner encouraged Ryan to lean into her natural charm rather than constructing something artificial. The famous delicatessen scene happened because writer Nora Ephron suggested to Reiner that women sometimes of fake orgasms. Reiner was genuinely shocked by this revelation, and Ryan made the resulting scene completely legendary with her fearless performance. She balanced comedy with emotional vulnerability perfectly throughout the entire film. She never pushed hard for laughs or mugged for the camera. The laughs simply came naturally from her honest performance. When Harry Met Sally launched Ryan into romantic comedy royalty and made her one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses. Reiner later praised her natural instincts repeatedly, saying she understood tonal balance better than almost any actor he'd worked with. She made Sally relatable and real without ever becoming generic or forgettable. Her ability to deliver emotional truth while keeping the tone light and entertaining defined the entire film's success. Ryan proved to Reiner that in acting, less is always more effective than doing too much. One breakout role established her as America's sweetheart for an entire generation. The collaboration worked beautifully because neither Ryan nor Reiner tried to force anything or make it more than it needed to be. James Caan didn't believe in extensive rehearsal. He wanted to feel his way through scenes and react instinctively. That approach initially terrified Kathy Bates during the making of Misery, but Reiner understood Caan's method completely and knew how to work with it. Caan brought pure instinct to every single scene. His character, Paul Sheldon, was trapped both physically in his injury and emotionally by his captor. That situation required an actor who could genuinely react in the moment rather than carefully planning everything out. The shoot tested everyone involved because Caan spent most of the filming either confined to a bed or restricted to a wheelchair. Lesser actors would have struggled tremendously with such limited physical movement and range. Caan made that immobility absolutely gripping to watch. His eyes did most of the acting work. His incredible restraint created unbearable tension throughout the film. Reiner knew exactly what he was getting when he cast Caan in the role. Misery became one of Reiner's most critically acclaimed films. Caan's performance grounded all the horror elements in complete reality, making everything far more frightening. He eventually bonded with Bates despite their very different acting methods and approaches. Their mutual respect came through clearly on screen in their intense scenes together. Reiner called Caan an absolute master of simply being present in each moment. There were no theatrical tricks, No showboating or scenery chewing, just pure truth in every single moment he appeared on screen. Years after the film's release, Stephen King himself called Misery the best adaptation anyone had ever made of his written work. That validation from the original author meant everything to everyone involved. Can's raw, unfiltered performance made the impossible situation completely believable to audiences. His suffering felt genuinely real because he never performed or indicated it artificially. That complete dedication made Misery utterly unforgettable. Can gave Reiner exactly what the film needed without ever asking how to do it or requiring extensive direction. Throughout his long career, Reiner never talked about having favorite actors in the conventional sense. Instead, he spoke about finding the right fits, matching the perfect actor to the perfect moment and role. These 10 actors gave him something that went far beyond simple technical performance. They gave him complete honesty and authenticity. They showed up to set fully prepared with their egos left behind, ready to serve the story rather than their own ambitions. Through their collaborative work, Reiner discovered and refined his own directorial voice. They took his vision from the page and made it into lived reality on screen. Some of these actors collaborated with him only once, while others became lifelong friends who stayed in his life for decades. But every single one of them left an indelible mark that helped shape American cinema into what it became. Their names live forever in his greatest films, preserved frame by frame and line by line, creating moments that audiences continue to quote, remember, and treasure generations later.